Hey guys, how are you today? It is Alison from Alison Answers and Logger Counseling Services. Today's topic is codependency. The definition of codependency that I like, that I think is most clear, is the abandonment of self in order to please others. And what I want you to think about is how often do you betray or abandon yourself in order to make sure that others like you, that they don't disapprove of you, that they think that you're great, that you are doing things to manipulate yourself in order to control how other people think, feel, or act around you. Codependency is a plague among women, and it is a plague among our society because people are taught at a very young age to abandon themselves and to make everyone else more important to them, more important than them. What ends up happening with that is that if we are always prioritizing other people above ourselves, we end up becoming people of resentment or people who feel less than. And another aspect of codependency that's very interesting that I don't think I've ever heard, but it's dawned on me, is that what we're doing is we're teaching other people, or we're supporting other people in abandoning themselves. Because if we think for other people, if we feel for other people, if we do things for other people, if we create things for other people, we're robbing them of their own identity. We're robbing them of the ability to create for themselves, to think for themselves, to be able to make mistakes for themselves. Codependent people in general will help other human beings not make mistakes because the codependent person, is too afraid. They're too afraid to watch the mistake happen, or they're too afraid of the experience that they'll have or the pain that they will have in regard to the other person feeling their mistake, experiencing the ramifications of their actions. We can talk, and we will, because I'm going to do probably a whole series on it. It was requested of me to talk about people pleasing, codependency, all of these relational type of distortions where people end up taking hostages instead of getting into relationships. They're so focused on the other person, what the other person is doing, thinking, feeling, where they sit in regard to that other person is so important to them that they lose all sense of self. So there are all different levels and extremes that happen within a codependent relationship. But what I want to share with you is that you can be free of it. And when we allow other people to think for themselves, when we allow other people to have their own identity, they are much, much healthier. They may go through a really super bumpy road and they may struggle, but they become more. And we're going to continue on a real, it's going to be an ongoing path where I'm going to just give insight into people pleasing, into healthy relational interacting. If you are more focused, I see this with women all the time. They'll go on a date and it's more the first date, and it's more important to them what the guy thinks about them than what they think about the guy. So they're not as much analyzing, or, maybe I shouldn't use the word analyzing since I'm a therapist, but like observing, is this actually someone that I like? Does he like chew with his mouth open and it turns me off? Like, is there any consideration of what you don't like? Very often people who are codependent, they love the way the other person loves them. All they want is that, because there's an utter fear of rejection, of being a disappointment, of not being valuable enough. And one of the things that codependent women or people feel is that if I am needed, if I can resolve your problem, if I create an atmosphere, and this is not conscious, if I create an atmosphere that you really need me, then you're not going to leave me. And a lot of what codependent people experience is that is what they're addicted to. They're also addicted to, they are just as addicted as an addict is. They're just as addicted to the other person as they are as an addict is to their drug. So I'm going to go into all of that because there's all different forms of codependency. There's just this there's a societal codependency where we are feeding, and I'm not talking about that we shouldn't feed people who are hungry. Don't be a hater and write in the comments, you should help people. You bet your ass I help people. But anyhow, what I want to say is that we don't want to support people believing that they can't do things for themselves. We don't want to support that. We want to help people. Think about anything that makes you feel good about you. I know the things that make me feel good about me is the struggle I get through as I'm doing something as a novice, and I conquer it. And then I learn, I make a ton of mistakes along the way. And then I'm just flabbergasted with like confidence and joy that, I did that thing. What we can do is we can rob that from our children. We can rob it from our spouses. We can rob it from friends, or just in society. We can take away their belief in their ability to do things. When I do something for you that you can do for yourself, and we do that because we want to help people, but I'm talking about when they have never done the thing for themselves, or they're messing up and they feel like they can't do it. When we do it, basically we're communicating that we believe that they can't do it. We're sending a message about their lack of capability. We're taking away their ability to not abandon themselves. Because really, honestly, if I have to go face something that I don't want to face, one of the ways to not face it is to abandon myself and my need to do the thing that's going to give me confidence. It's going to make me feel great about me. So I love you guys, and let's just conquer codependency. What do you think of that? Let's do that shit.